Hey guys, welcome back to Vampyr. I'm Ciarasteina, and let's see, forget exactly where I left off. What was that? Oh yeah, I need to
The flower is
water that
dying.
thing.
It needs water.
Wonder if that matters. Alright, talk to Edgar Swansea.
It's locked, all right.
But he... Oh, okay.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
I'm sure my character is... I'm a living paradox.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
Test subject.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit.
And then she'll have it.
Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
After I loot your office, if I can. Letter of Rakesh Chadana. The Pembroke Hospital, 4th of August. Dear Dr. Swansea, I will be glad to manage a temporary morgue as soon as it's open, as I have already told you. I was a doctor during the war, and I will be glad to serve my country again. I know it's not the same being a physician for the dead as it is for the living, but I believe it is important to welcome and take good care of our departed too. Rest assured, I will do my best to fully perform this new duty to the best of my abilities. Concerning the question of my qualifications, I'm sorry I can't give you anything more valuable than my parole. I swear to you that my regiment made me a doctor during the war, and I saved many lives. If my word is not enough, you can contact the military administration to verify my experience and skills. They will confirm that even if I never followed any medical studies, the war taught me what a doctor really needs to know. So he's not really a doctor. He was just kind of like made one during the war out of desperation. Warning letter. Pembroke Hospital, 25th of October. Dear Dr. Swansea, I must inform you my deepest reservations concerning the Dr. Thoreau Strickland and Harvey Fiddick case. Mr. Fiddick has been hospitalized after a severe work injury. He may permanently lose the use of his arm if not treated adequately. Dr. Strickland claims that a surgical procedure may save the man's arm completely. I say it may also sever its functions for good if complications arise. Our young colleague is an audacious and daring surgeon who might prove a great professional in a few years, but for now he lacks the skills to perform such a risky procedure. And need I remind you of the mistakes he made in the past? Since Dr. Strickland refuses to listen to me, I strongly advise you to forbid him to perform such a hazardous experiment. Very respectfully, Dr. Waverly Ackroyd. So, but they've both, messed up. I don't know what to do about that one. Should I let him do the surgery or not? Rare species of vampires? Oh, I'm not going to read all that. You can pause it and fast forward if you want, or let's see. Talking about the econs. Volcads or lupine, so werewolf. So there's werewolves in this game too? And I'm guessing they have other mythological creatures in different parts of the world. Interesting. I don't know when I'm going to be back in this office, so I'm taking everything I can. Is that all? One last check. See if he's got anything of interest to say.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
But I'm probably just...
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
Interesting.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
Oh, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
How lovely.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
Must I kill? Will the sun destroy me? Must I kill?
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
That
The
didn't
sun.
really answer my question.
The morning following my transformation.
It did, and it didn't.
Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Okay.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
How do Skulls come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Why am I a vampire and he's a
Just for
Skald?
clarity, what differences
Exactly.
are there between myself and a Skull?
A Skald is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
Okay, that didn't... Again, answering my questions
see each
without
other again
answering my
soon,
questions. That's annoying. Okay, so... I guess it doesn't matter which way I go. What do I have for quests? Find the local command of the Pruin, reach the pharmacy. Track that.
I wonder why the Goswicks came here in the first place.
When I get back, I'll have a word with Tom. He's really pissed me off this time.
I'm really contemplating just draining this bastard, but I doubt I can do it here safely. Can I cross this water somewhere? Oh, he's 10 and 11 and 12. Maybe I should hide from him? Am I supposed to be in this, like, big of an area?
Sorry, sir, no admittance.
This is no place for a gentleman.
Oh shit.
A leech! A leech!
Come on, get up there. I can't?
Watch it! It's a killer! Get a taste of
Okay. That doesn't sound good. Join the ranks, blah blah blah. Can I get up there? Why can't I get up there? Do I have to go around? That kind of sucks. Thought you'd be able to like jump up there, but I guess not. Okay, how do I get there? Down this way. Am I going the right way? No. Oh. Okay, let's...
Stupid fucking beast!
Okay, these guys are not that hard, so...
See them fancy clothes? This one's a top!
You guys are a little... I mean, they're definitely not, like, people I'd want to take on in large groups, but in smaller groups, they're not bad. I thought that was shining. Interesting world building, I have to admit. I need to get... Oh, I can. Not fuck around anymore. Ooh. Dr. Strickland's list. Ordered by Dr. Thoreau Strickland, Pembroke Hospital. List of substance and ingredients. Medical opium, sodium hypochlorite, potassium permanganate.
Opium is one of the main ingredients of Strickland's medication. Never a good move.
Can I heal myself? Okay, I can't go in there. Enter at your own risk. Maybe there's someone around here that I can feed off of. Yep. That's not what I meant to do. Oh shit. Damn it. It's like trying to get my health back up. Let's see. Can remove that now. And just go back, I suppose. Ooh, here we go.
It's a leech!
Oh, he's hurting me.
Leech spotted! Watch out!
Shoot. Come on, give me another drink. Ow. Okay. Just codeine laying in the street. Sure, we'll go with it. Opium. It's actually probably not that out of the ordinary. Actually, let me see. Can I do the other quest now? Is it in the opposite direction? Yes, of course it is. Okay. So, go back to the hospital. After I look around. Okay. Should probably heal up. Guess I might make another fatigue potion if I can. Or anti-fatigue potion. Salicin? Let's see. Light blood serum. How do I use those? Oh, I don't have any sodium hypochlorite solution. Seeing if anything makes sodium hypochlorite. Oh, this does. now I just gotta figure out how to get back there. I might as well take one of those. Let's see. Can I not make it level 3? Oh, no. That's not right. This takes a lot less stamina. +3 blood absorption. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so go ahead and take you. Oh, I forgot about that ability. Oops. Okay, well I have, it's a passive ability. Took up most of my XP, so the following night. Major district events. Every night the consequences of your actions may improve or degrade the district health status. It can also be degraded due to diseases spreading among civilians. The more lives you take, the unhealthier a district becomes. If a district's health status drops below critical threshold, it will plunge into chaos. It is for you to decide a district's fate. Oh, because I healed him. I need to heal him and figure out this guy. So I probably have to heal this guy with something, and I need to heal this guy. But that dropped down into serious. It's still at stable. Do I want to heal him though? So everything has stayed the same. How do I like increase my mesmerize level?
Flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough.
Even though his name is Dying Patient.
Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Again?
You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed.
I don't remember her saving
Allow me to
him.
introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury.
Did I miss something?
I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
So it seems our Dr. Swansea does indeed have a fascination for creatures of our constitution.
Dr. Swansea is a remarkable man. Dedicated, one might say, obstinate? He spent years compiling our bestiary.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been
Yeah,
compromised.
we'll just talk about this right in front of a patient.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, your ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea
so
has
I
commissioned
cannot
me to
kill
be
the
your
target.
agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Please continue.
I wonder
Every
if me
detail
killing
is
those
essential.
guys on the street, if that's
I'm your
affecting
man.
anything.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame
Or if it's
at having
actually
put the
named
hospital at
people.
risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
We both are afflicted with a thirst for blood, Lady Ashbury. That is our nature. By vocation, we also have reason to visit the hospital. Logic dictates.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should
She's
start?
not eating the patients.
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Will she
Is our
answer
little
any
mystery
now?
closer to being solved, Dr. Reed?
I think of nothing else, my lady.
My situation is delicate, and it occupies all my thoughts. The blackmail must stop. I need assurance.
Nope. Okay. Okay, so she's inside.
What? What? What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight.
I'm threatening her?
I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse, or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off they are.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into
lovely
a possible
lady.
medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut.
Wow.
I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have
Wow.
irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round.
Okay. I'm stealing your shit because you're a bitch. No idea. Anything else to steal? No. Okay.
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Okay, there's a shiny back here, and you're in the way.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
Of that, I'm sure.
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
That's true.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious
And I know
man.
people
That
like
old
that.
witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
I don't blame you.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke...
Yeah. That's the only thing I can ask her? Okay.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
The pain.
So... I'm Nurse Brannigan. Okay. It sent me out here. Maybe I should ask some of the... not staff, but people. This is Brannigan again? Or not Brannigan.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Yeah,
Good evening,
it
Dr.
is.
Reed.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Okay, so... Okay, she's right there.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
So...
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Okay.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Actually, can I mind
Good evening,
control
Nurse
them?
Brannigan.
Good evening.
Do you require medical assistance?
Thank you for your concern.
Let's see, R. Oh, she's level 5.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Who's the other nurse? Can I get into her mind, or... Oh, I saw you. Can I get back here?
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doc.
Okay. I don't know if I have to be level 3 in order to get it. Let's try. Yeah, you have to be level 3. Okay, so...
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed,
No. Getting closer. I'm guessing that, like, I'm gonna have to...
What will you do after your resignation? Do you have a plan?
I always fancied visiting Cyprus. Such a beautiful island. I could buy a house there by the sea. Read poetry and wait for death.
Oh, that's positive.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
I have no time for such triviality, my dear colleague. We're here to save lives.
Okay.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
So yeah, I should ask other people.
Good evening, Mr.
Evening.
Have you
If you want to know what's going on here.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans.
Yeah, I feel him.
And it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
Reconstructive surgery has been very successful for some soldiers.
I don't want to wear a bloody mask for the rest of my life. I'd rather stay here and just be forgotten.
Hint failed. Oh. Shoot.
Tell me what really happened.
I went with...
Did you...
No.
Can I...
What?
Come on.
I
don't want...
No, I can't. Shoot.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft?
Wow.
Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
I agree with that.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Okay, so what happened here? I just lost that one. Damn. Oh, but I can mesmerize him.
Good evening.
Evening.
I can't ask him any questions. Okay.
I wonder why the Goswicks came here in the first place.
Okay, that didn't do anything.
Bred with no respect.
Hello again, Dr. Reed.
Oops. No.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
So many deaths.
Alright, so she's down below?
Disgust on every street corner. The
Good evening, Miss Howcroft.
I need blood, Doctor.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
Okay. Dang it.
Have you heard of any blackmailing going on within these walls?
I have no time for mortal games.
Yeah, okay. So...
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your...
Yeah, okay.
I'm quite busy, right?
Hints.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
So I need...
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you.
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently.
He's walking right by.
Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
I kind of got that anyway, like...
Have you heard any talk of blackmail?
If you're running some official inquiry, you had better question...
I located the shop, but it was vandalized, and the owner is missing. All I found was your order.
I was afraid of such bad news. People are so desperate they're ready to burgle a shop for drugs.
That's quite a list you ordered. Opium, sodium hypochlorite. It can't be just headaches you're trying to cure.
This dreadful influenza, of course. I already ran some tests on hopeless cases. Without success, I must admit.
Do you realize you could create a lethal poison without the correct dosage? Then there are the legal ramifications.
Is this not true of any medical substance, Dr. Reed? However, if you would agree to improve it, I'd be glad to accept your help.
As long as you promise to be scrupulous with your experiments, I may try to gather these substances, and even help improve upon the mixture.
That's all I'm asking for, Dr. Reed. That's all I'm asking.
No, at least he's willing to help.
I want to know about these secret tests you run, and if they can save people from this epidemic. Speak to me now, Thoreau.
I know I may sound presumptuous, but I'm just following your steps, Dr. Reed. I'm casting away the shadows of ignorance by daring to face them.
Self-confidence is essential in our line of work, my young colleague, but only if tempered with the correct amount of cynicism.
But you never doubt yourself, Dr. Reed. I've read all your articles and books. You performed the most daring research during the war.
Don't you think we have enough work already? Perhaps now is not the best time to be chasing
He'll just
shadows.
be like, now's the
Chasing
best
shadows,
time.
really? It's funny those words coming from the only doctor here who has spent more time outside this hospital than in.
Touché.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Okay, final local...
I can't let Strickland put his patients at risk with opium. Perhaps an adjusted formula will deliver more of a placebo effect.
Okay, let's see.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you heard talk of any blackmail?
No?
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always need the words to calm the children.
Okay, so the quest was this one. I think I have everything needed.
As for me...
Let's see that again.
What a blundering idiot.
Really?
It's locked.
The door was open and it shuts on me and now it's locked? Son of a bitch. Okay.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Trying to find people to question. How is she downstairs? Let's see what he has to say.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is thinking of leaving the hospital?
That's not a surprise. We've talked about it already.
Does it not bother you?
Sometimes I think she may be right. We should run away while we can. Question is, where can we go? Where is it safe?
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets around here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reed. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the oldest patient here.
Yeah, I've already tried.
I'd like to...
Wise choice, Doctor.
Is there anything that he has? Not really. Okay. So...
Hey, Doc.
Have you heard?
Blackmail. That's...
Am I right to assume your wife's letter pissed you off, Clay?
I was so
weird
mad,
to
I threw
hear
away
that
the
in
knife
like a
she got me
period
when we got
game.
married.
Your wife gave you a knife as a wedding present.
That knife has always been my lucky charm. If I'd had it in my hand when I got stabbed on that pier, I'd not have been wounded.
Oh.
Do you want it back?
I don't need it here, but if you'd be kind enough to bring it to me, I'd be really grateful.
A grateful Clay Cox? I might just find your knife and bring it back to you to see that happen.
I can give you directions, but I'd be surprised if you managed to find it. My hideout isn't meant to be found easily.
A lucky charm? I never would have taken you as the superstitious type.
We all have our flaws, Doc. Mine's to have my weapon of choice for when the really dirty business comes around.
Okay, so what else can I talk to him about?
What can you tell me about your marriage, Clay?
Marriage is the sweetest cage, they say. Well, I found myself locked in one with a wild animal.
You mean your wife
That's
keeps
an
you on your
interesting
toes?
way of putting it.
No, I mean, we both have claws and we both love to bite.
Makes it sound like you're... don't really need to mesmerize you. Okay.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Miss, please, I feel sick. Get over here now.
Alright. Is that something I can... no? Okay. Okay, well, before we run into Nurse Dorothy Crane, which is somehow up below the hospital, I'm going to pause it here, and I'll meet you guys back here in a minute. See ya.